The Peel police officer who fired the shots that killed a 62-year-old Moulton man last month will not be interviewed by Ontario's police watchdog, as is his legal right. The revelation is renewing calls from community groups to overhaul the way police shootings are investigated in this province.
Anybody who watches the video, I think, could draw their own conclusions about why the officer would or wouldn't want to speak. It really does speak for itself.
New information has been released about the investigation into the killing of 62-year-old Ejaz Choudry. The father of 4 who lived with schizophrenia was shot by police June 20th after his family called the non-emergency line asking for help. The Special Investigations Unit says from the scene they've collected a police-issued firearm, a taser, and an anti-riot weapon that shoots rubber bullets, as well as a knife. They also confirmed the officer who fired the fatal shots has declined to be interviewed or hand over his notes, as is his legal right. It's troubling but not surprising, says the family lawyer in a statement to City News, adding there is nothing he could possibly say that could excuse or justify shooting Ejaz. It's not the first time a Peel police officer has refused to speak with the provincial police watchdog after fatally shooting a civilian experiencing a mental health crisis. Just last month, the SIU revealed the officer who shot and killed 26-year-old DeAndre Campbell back in April after he'd already been tasered twice had still not been interviewed 2 months after the incident. At that time, Peel Police told City News that wouldn't stop the investigation.
They are still going to conduct their investigation. They'll still speak to all the witness officers, any witnesses to that event, and they will still complete their case whether that officer chooses to speak at that time or not.
While officers have the right to remain silent after discharging their weapon, like anyone suspected of a crime, critics have long said police should not be held to the same standard as civilians.
People who are walking around with a gun and a badge shouldn't have the ability to crouch behind a set of rules and regulations that don't serve to protect the public, but rather serve to protect them.
One former SIU director has suggested there are ways to increase accountability while still protecting officer rights.
You can have the subject officer compelled to give a statement, but it can't be used against him in court. Or if he refuses, then you don't allow him to carry a gun again because you don't know what happened.
No justice, no peace. Defund the police. Defund the police.
In the case of Choudry, the SIU says 9 witness officers have been interviewed. Unlike subject officers, witness officers are compelled to speak with investigators.
We as a public deserve better. We demand better. And that's why there has to be changes in the way that the SIU works.
The Special Investigations Unit says it is still waiting to schedule an interview with the Choudry family and have requested permission to access relevant medical records. But the family's lawyer tells City News that they have been cooperating with the SIU since that incident occurred, and they've even offered assistance in reaching out to eyewitnesses.